much better. That's right. Oh, okay. Did you hear that? Oh, that's a microphone. Denny Myers, up front row. That's pretty good. Can you hear me in the back good? I bet you could without a microphone, too. It's okay. When you're way up high, I think a microphone helps. Maybe. I'm probably going to end up ripping it off of my face. Sure. He's up front, Patty. I made him sit up front.
Did you?
Yeah. I know what to do.
Are we the cheering section?
I know what to do. Front and center. Yeah, that's a gorgeous coat. I love that color. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 18-ish. And you count all the time. Should I wait a little bit? It's just a little bit, like just a couple minutes after. I don't want to start too late, but I also wouldn't want anybody running through the parking lot or anything like that. Although brisk walking is very good for your health. You think? Yeah, I can. Did you hand them out to everybody? Did you fill them out?
Before you leave today, I'm going to ask if you could take just a moment and pass out an evaluation after the presentation today. And it really is just asking you how Megan did, and then also asking if there's any other topics that you would like to learn more about. So we really, at Epigem, we really try to listen to what you have to say and base our programs around that. So I will have those on the back table on your way out, so you can grab one when you go to get your healthy snacks. All right? And then I think you can go ahead.
You think I can start?
I think you can.
Okay. Hi, everybody.
Hello, Megan.
Thank you for coming on this Sunday afternoon. The Bears game isn't going so good, so I'm sure this is going to be much more fun. For those of you in the room who don't know who I am, my name is Megan Christensen. I got slides up here, but you guys got a copy of everything you're going to see up here on the screen. You got the presentation to take home. I am a nurse by background. I've been a nurse with FHN for 15 wonderful years. I have worked all over the healthcare organization. I worked on medical surgical, the emergency department. I developed and ran a heart failure program. I helped in orthopedics. And for the last 5 years, I've been a diabetes nurse educator. And I meet with people with diabetes and their family, and I support and teach them. And somewhere along, can you hear me okay? Okay, the sound guy came out. Along the way, someone asked me to come and speak with your church about the mind, body, spirit connection, about spirituality and nutrition and exercise, and how that all ties in to better health for you and better wellness. And I do talk to a lot of different groups and fun, so I'm really excited that you invited me here today. I probably put together like an hour's worth of information. As I mentioned, you have the presentation, copies of everything, because you're not expected to memorize this. And then I put together also some of my favorite handouts on how to plan a healthy meal, looking at the sugar content in various drinks, a list we made many years ago of 101 healthy snacks, because we often think, oh, when I try to eat healthy, I can't snack healthy, and that's so far from the truth, and the importance of exercise. Other side notes before I dive into the information today, there are refreshments following the presentation, and we would love for you all to come. They are healthy refreshments, some fruits and cheeses and whole grain crackers out this way. So no one will be allowed to leave until you have some snacks. Did I get that? Also, it's absolutely okay for me to promote your cookie walk. The cookie walk sign up is on the right-hand side on your way out. That sort of stuff is really good for holidays. It always puts us in the good spirit as well. Did I get all the announcements out of the way? I think so. All right, diving on into stuff. If I can get this to work. Anybody?
Point it over here.
Point it over there. That do it? That do it. Ha! Oh. Okay, just bear with me while I touch. Think it will go back? I can keep this here. I tried to tie in the spirituality and health with God and the Holy Spirit, and I found some Bible verses to tie in today. Oh, I did get it to go back. Corinthians 6:19 through 20. Do you not know that your bodies are temples of the Holy Spirit? Therefore, honor God with your bodies. This is such a powerful statement to me, and I imagine to you, in that our bodies are truly our temples. Sometimes I feel like we treat our vehicles and our machinery better than we do our own body. Also, another way to view that is we've only got one life in this perception, one shot at it, right? So we want to feel good, we want to feel mentally well, physically well, so we have to take good care of the body, right? I try to keep it really simple, and it doesn't have to be full rocket science, and you can still enjoy yourself. Point it over there. Pause. Oh, you're doing it? Next slide. Oh, this one. I have a few definitions because I think it's important to understand what health and wellness and what spiritual health is. And they all tie together. And the balance of that is what truly makes us healthy and feel well each day. The definition of health is a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being. It's not just about not being sick with a cold or not being sick with cancer. It's all of those things together, my physical health, my mental health, and my social health. Next slide. Wellness, I think, is a really important word to understand. And in the infographic, it has, I love these infographics that have tons of words in them. They're very motivating. Emotional, financial, physical, intellectual, spiritual. Wellness is the act of practicing healthy habits on a daily basis to attain physical and mental health. It is often thought of as thriving, not just surviving. So health is what is my current state, and wellness is me making those efforts to feel good based on my own definition. Last but not least, and one of the most important concepts, next slide, is the definition of spiritual health. Spiritual health is extremely important to your overall health and well-being. Someone grounded in spiritual health, no matter what that definition is, typically will have more physical well-being and mental well-being. The definition of spiritual health is a connection to something greater than yourself. It will give you meaning and purpose and a sense of peace. Do you often feel that in your spiritual health journey? It is that belief in something greater. It helps you to cope with stress and with your well-being. There is no wrong or right way to be spiritually healthy or to practice spiritual health. This is a good example of it. Also, going to church, going to Bible study, just reading your Bible, silent prayer, nature hikes, being mindful, practicing gratitude, helping others, and volunteering and giving back, exercising, and eating healthy are also great ways to contribute to your spiritual health. Next slide. So, am I spiritually healthy, you're saying? Of course you are. You're sitting in this room. You are spiritually healthy because it doesn't have to be perfect and there is no right or wrong, right? Attributes of spiritual health are you have a sense of purpose. I have a purpose of some sort. You're comfortable alone, just reflecting. You have a sense of what is right or wrong. You have a moral compass. You're able to express your beliefs respectfully. You care for others, you care for the environment, and you feel hopeful and grateful. Those are all attributes of having a good foundation in spiritual health. I like this picture, next slide, because it ties in today's whole theme and all of those definitions. That to be healthy, my mind, my body, and my spirit all have to be working together. They don't have to be perfect. They're highly intertwined. And if I'm working on all three of those components, I'm going to be on a healthful journey, improving my well-being. Okay, Megan, so how do I get there? I don't know. We'll start with some baby steps. Next slide. This is a great Bible verse. Genesis 1:29. I give you every seed-bearing plant on the face of the whole earth, and every tree that has fruit with seed in it. They will be yours for food. This is truly God's plan for your nutrition. I love this picture of food. I use it in almost all of my presentations. And any person in this room who's ever met with me one-on-one as a patient, I often talk about if you are unsure, should I or should I not eat this food? Think about where it came from. Did it come from the factory full of dye and sugar and high fructose corn syrup that we made after 1945? Or was it here for us? Did God put it here for us? What was here for us to eat? Wheat, potatoes, fruit, corn, animals for protein. What were we supposed to drink? What was here for us to drink? Water. The rivers were full of water, right? We made soda. We made Starbucks. We even made juice, right? So the closer to the earth that food is, the better it will nourish your body, right? He gave us all the seeds and all the trees with all the seeds to nourish our body. So use those foods. Now, it doesn't mean you can never have a cookie. I think they didn't want cookies for their treat, but you absolutely can enjoy those things. But the stuff that's full of the sugars and the bad ingredients should be the things that we only eat a little bit of. And we should nourish our body full of the beautiful things you see here. Lean proteins like salmon and chicken and lean red meats, tons of fruit, whole grains like wheat and quinoa and rice. Who here has ever heard of or thought that rice was bad for them? Yeah, anybody ever thought rice is, I can't have rice? Rice is a plant that grows all over the earth. Even in the United States, you can grow rice down in Louisiana or in any sort of a marsh. These are foods that are good for us, that give us balance and nourishment. Next slide. Don't worry, this is just the beginning of your diet talk. I use this picture often as well. We are what we eat. Back to what I told you, I have a couple ways of thinking of healthy eating. How close to the earth is that food for me, right? How much has man altered the food and added chemicals and sugar to it? But also, I try to think of my body as that car, right? I take really good care of my car. And if I put donuts and Coca-Cola into my car, would I have problems? Yes, with the pipes and the filters and the engine, right? So if we put that into our body, we should expect different outcomes. We should expect different health outcomes. And in the defense of my wonderful parents, this stuff all came out and you didn't know, right? Convenient food came out, the population was growing, society was working, both the woman and the man were at work all day, and then they came out with that rapid processed food. I mean, I remember a can of SpaghettiOs was like cool, right? It was like, but now we know, right? They go back and go, oh, maybe we shouldn't have all that processed food. And we definitely know that McDonald's is not very good for us, okay? It's okay to eat out. We try to go to those different restaurants where you can get a little bit healthier food, where I know that that potato is most likely real. So if you eat more vegetables, more fruits, the lean proteins, the whole grains, this is not a life free from carbohydrate. It's a life with good carbohydrate in your body, which is your whole grains, your fruits, your starchy vegetables. And trying to avoid that stuff, right? Just only using that when you're on the road. I got McDonald's a couple weeks ago. It had been a while. We were driving from Freeport down to Bloomington. You know, it's just a big, long stretch, and you don't want to, like, get off the road. And it was like $39 for 3 meals. It wasn't even inexpensive anymore. I mean, I loved every French fry I ate. But I said to my husband, like, this isn't even an inexpensive, choice anymore. All right, next slide. Just some good infographics for what we should and shouldn't eat. Oh, this one will be hard to read, but it's in your packet. It's my tips for healthy eating. How do I get on track with healthy eating if I think I'm not doing it? My first advice is just pick 1 or 2 things and work on that. If you try to overhaul a whole diet, we are rarely successful. Pick 1 or 2 things from what I'm about to tell you and work on that for 2 or 4 weeks. Master it. Then pick another thing to work on. You'll be more successful. Keep a food diary. If you're unsure if you're eating well or not, write down everything you eat or drink for a week. It's your journal. It's just like being in high school, okay? The more honest you are in that food diary, the more honest you can be with yourself for what you need to change. Include everything you drink, like water, milk and sodas, diet or regular, and it immediately will help you see if you need to make changes. Mine usually doesn't have enough water hash marks in it, and I go, oh, I sure haven't been drinking enough water. Number 2 is reduce sugary drinks. I am a huge advocate that we should not be drinking liquid sugar. It should be very rare. That's your Coca-Cola, your Mountain Dew, even juices. Eat the fruit, don't drink the juice, right? Eat the fruit whole, get all the fiber out of it. But liquid sugar hits your bloodstream in about 10 minutes. So that is a barrel of sugar coming into the bloodstream all at one time. And 98 million people are pre-diabetes right now, meaning they resist their insulin. So liquid lightning bolt sugar causes weight gain, causes more diabetes, and for me, it's one of the low-hanging fruits, right? You tell me to give up potatoes and we might be fighting. A sugary drink, I can say I can get rid of Coca-Cola. I'd love to have my baked potatoes, my rice, and my noodle on my plate. Number 3, choose water. Drink more water. If you think you're hungry and you shouldn't be hungry, that example is I've had breakfast like 45 minutes ago. And I know I shouldn't be hungry right now, but I think I need a cookie. You are actually thirsty. It is 100% proven that the body doesn't send out the right signal all the time. So if you're hungry and you shouldn't be, it's because you need a cup of water. So just drink a glass of water and wait a little bit. Number 4, increase your vegetables. If you're not eating a lot of vegetables, work on increasing the vegetables on your plate. You'll see a method coming up in a little bit with half of the plate full of non-starchy vegetables. Non-starchy vegetables are full of vitamins and minerals. They are part of God's nutrition plan for you. They have a good source of fiber in them. Examples are lettuce, broccoli, cauliflower, spinach, tomatoes, mushrooms. There's tons of them on a list coming up for you. If you look at me right now and say you don't like vegetables, I challenge you to try to eat some more. Be brave. Try things you haven't tried in a while. Our taste buds do change. Also, I get it. Cooking vegetables, buying vegetables, and not letting them perish is a challenge. I buy a lot of frozen vegetables. Frozen veggies are inexpensive. They're about the same price as a can. They have no salt in them, so they're heart healthy, and they don't mold on me. My husband often calls me the asparagus killer because I buy it and then I watch it go bad. But if you keep those vegetables up in your freezer, they're easy to cook. Most of them are microwavable now. You can pull that freezer bag of asparagus out and just microwave it, and it gets you a quick, easy, affordable alternative that also fills that plate with something nutritious. Limit your processed foods. The processed foods are the ones that we made. It is the ramen noodle, the Pop-Tart, the Snickers bar, the hot dog, right? We limit that stuff. It's not that it's a never in your life, but it shouldn't be the thing that you eat day in and day out. Choose healthy snacks. I gave you a list of 101 healthy snacks. It's normal to be hungry, right? If I'm supposed to be hungry, I ate my breakfast 2 hours ago. I've been raking leaves. I've been moving around. I should be hungry. It's okay to nourish the body, but I promise you, no matter what you think, your body is never asking for a chocolate chip cookie, okay? If it tells you it wants something sweet, we're the one that deciphers that output message. When the body wants something sweet, it's actually telling you that it wants fruit. So use fruit as a snack, use nuts as a snack, use vegetables as a snack. Choose whole grains. Popcorn. Popcorn's a whole grain, right? It's that seed that pops right into the kernel. You can get 3 cups of popcorn to the same serving size as one of those little bags of Doritos. They have and then popcorn has more fiber in it. So pick healthy snacks. That's an easy change to make as well. Eat 3 meals a day. Skipping meals rarely benefits you. I'm not a huge fan of the fasting diets. There is some success with those, but the liver kicks out sugar anyways and raises your blood sugar. We have found if you eat breakfast, lunch, and supper, and it's not like it has to be an overwhelming amount of food, you are less likely to overeat before bedtime and go to bed and not snack so heavily throughout the day. Read your food labels. Who reads food labels? Raise your hands. Good. Read your food labels. Be informed. Everything that's in the food is on the food label. I take my time in the grocery store. It's good to practice at home. There's really no right or wrong way to read food labels. And enjoy your favorite foods, but just do it in small portions, right? It's okay to have pumpkin and pecan pie on Thanksgiving. You just do it in a reasonable portion, and then I buy the 0 sugar Cool Whip, and nobody even knows. And that little dollop has no sugar in it. All right, next slide. This next slide is, I just stopped here temporary, and what I put on here is that these foods do not honor the temple, right? Our Bible verse said you are part of the temple. You need to honor your body as the Holy Spirit. And these foods actually harm our temple. We know it, right? All they give you is sugar and salt and fat. And these should just be limited, okay? I had to have a slide in case we didn't know what processed food was. But this stuff gets that healthy spiritual nutrition plan. Next slide. Now, you all have this in front of you. I'll give you a minute to pull it out. It's this healthy, plan your portion plate. It's got a beautiful plate of colorful food. It's from the American Diabetes Association. As the diabetes nurse, that is my go-to. I do, as you're pulling that out, the American Diabetes Association and the American Heart Association. Their websites both have thousands of free recipes, snacks, fun drinks, dinners, breakfast. I encourage you to go there to get free ideas, and both websites are heart-healthy, diabetes-friendly websites, which is really how the whole world should eat. Even if you don't have diabetes, even if you don't have heart disease, you don't want it, right? So eating the way I'm about to teach you is the best. All right? This is called Planning Your Portions from the American Diabetes Association. I like it because it gives you examples of the food groups right on top of it. And we see very healthy, nourishing foods, right, that come from this earth that are good for us. That is why it's not true to say potatoes are bad or bread is bad. Just the way we cook them can make them more bad for us. And so on this method, you take a regular plate of food, not the world's best nurse plate. You know, it's a really big plate somebody gave me. Regular plate of food. Draw an imaginary line down the plate and plan half of your plate with those non-starchy vegetables I was talking about a little bit ago. They're on the, if you're looking at your plate, they're on the left-hand side. What we see on the visual is some green beans and some carrot sticks. Again, these vegetables don't turn into a lot of natural sugar in the bloodstream. They give you so many vitamins and minerals and fiber, which is what is good fuel for your body. Everybody looking at this list, do you see things you like on there? I love lots of them, and this is not even every vegetable, but not all vegetables go here. Asparagus and broccoli and all the lettuces, peppers, radishes, zucchini, tons of vegetables go here, and you can kind of think of them as freebies. They're extremely good for your heart health and to make sure that that engine is running good. On the second half of the plate, we draw an imaginary line down the middle and we split it into fourths. It's always recommended to have some protein on your plate. So we start with that chicken breast down there, chicken leg, chicken thigh, something, chicken wing. It is important to have protein with all your meals and snacks. I always try to incorporate a little protein when I'm snacking as well. It is recommended to not bread and deep fry your proteins, okay? Deep frying clogs up our arteries, okay? So we should grill, bake, broil, air fry, right? We try not to do a lot of deep frying, and even if we're around it, right? If you're around some fried chicken, eat a little bit of that good fried stuff, but then peel the rest off. You don't have to eat every bite of the deep fried meat. Now, protein is all of the meats and seafoods. Protein does not turn into sugar in the blood, so that means it doesn't cause any weight gain. It gives you long energy. It's really good for our skin and our organs. And protein helps you feel fuller longer. So often, if you don't have protein with a meal, you're going to be hungry sooner than you should be. And you only have to get a quarter of the plate with protein. Sometimes people lose that taste, the desire, plus the time it takes to cook protein. So it's just an effort to try to get a little bit of protein on the plate. It doesn't always have to be a meat though. It could be eggs and cheese and peanut butter. Greek yogurt is a protein. There's a big market out there now for the protein shakes. I buy a 4-pack of protein shakes about every 2 weeks, and I use a protein shake for a lunch. It can be your fish, your seafood, some tuna, and you can get really creative with protein. I buy a lot of rotisserie chicken, right? The already made chicken. It's yummy, it's not deep fried, right? And you can do a ton with that. Not only can it be your dinner, but then you can make chicken salad, you can make chicken tacos with it. You can use it for several days. The other one I like to do a lot with is peanut butter and nuts. I will often use that with my snacks. Apple and peanut butter, banana and peanut butter. Elvis Presley, right? The wheat bread, peanut butter with a little bit of bananas on it. You get a little bit of grain, you get a little bit of fruit, and you get a little bit of protein. Also, it's okay to have more protein. This plate was made by dietitians. I'm a nurse, so I view it a little different. But the portion is based on your heart health. So if that's red meat, we should probably watch our portion a little bit because red meat's got a little more fat in it. But if you're still hungry, it's okay to eat more chicken, eat some more salmon, right? Eat another shrimp or two, right? It's always okay to top off with more protein than to top off with another biscuit, okay? Moving on to the biscuits. That's the next quarter of the plate. If you take that last quarter of the plate, and I love visuals like this. This is from the American Diabetes Association, and it's showing you potatoes, right? It's got a beautiful serving of red potatoes there that are homemade, showing you that potatoes are good for you, right? They come directly from this earth, and they give us really good nutrients. But I do try to make sure that my starch, my carb, fits in about a fourth of my plate. This type of method really keeps you on a healthy, balanced plate. The potato measurement. You can use a loose fist. If you envision a plate of food in front of you, that's about how big of a serving of potato, or maybe it's a little bit of pasta. Other examples we see on here, it could be your bread. Wheat bread is better for us than white bread because it has more fiber in it and it's closer to the earth. Do you know what happened there, right? We had wheat, and then we made bread with wheat, right? And other things, corn, right? And then we took it into those factories and we pounded out all the wheat, right? And we said, oh, it's white bread, let's put some bleach in there and it'll be good for you. So wheat bread is better for you because it's not so processed and you get a little bit more of that fiber. I tell myself, if you're gonna raise my blood sugar or potentially cause me to gain weight, you're gonna have some fiber in there to do some cleaning in my arteries for me, okay? Other examples we see up in this category are some of the starchy vegetables. Not all vegetables go over in that freebie category, but they're still very good for you. That's your potato, your corn, your red bean, your black bean, very nutritious foods. Red beans and black beans are very starchy, but they even have protein in them. That's another creative way to get like a protein and a starch at the same time. One of the things that I've learned a lot in food and spirituality and the earth is the more colorful that food item is, the more nature had to put into that, right? If you think of a berry, a blueberry, a red berry, think of what God put into that to make it. That is going to give you a powerhouse of food. And the better the food, the better you're going to feel. It is 100% proven that if we eat well, and then before I get there, and exercise, your spiritual health, your mental health, your mind, body, spirit connection will be stronger than ever. And this seems reasonable, doesn't it? Oftentimes when people look at this plate, they're like, that is reasonable, right? It does not matter what you do on Thanksgiving, okay? Before we even talk about the holiday, enjoy yourself, eat your food, and make sure to exercise and have all the pie you want, okay? But on the next day, you gotta get back on track. All right, next slide. Ooh, I lost my presentation here too. Oh, I really like to talk a lot about hydrating your body well. This is such an important factor to taking good care of yourself. Your blood is made like entirely of cells and water. Every organ of your body responds better when you have enough water in it. I tell people when you have not drank enough water in the day, it's like running your car with no oil in it. Are you going to have problems? Yes, it's going to break down. So one of the greatest things you can do for your overall health is make sure you're drinking enough water every day. And get it in early, you know. I try to get my water in early. I don't want to have to get up and pee in the night. So drink a glass of water before you have your coffee, right? My mom had all this vertigo going on, and I have vertigo. She's going to have every test in the world done. And I know it's because she gets up, and when you think about when you've been sleeping, most of us have slept from 6 to 8 hours. You are dry to the bone when you wake up in the morning. You do not need coffee first. You need water. So I told her to start, she had to drink a cup of water in her coffee mug before she had her coffee. Take your pills, chug the water, then have your coffee. Get the body hydrated, get it moving well. And if you're ever feeling funny, think, when's the last time I had my water? Something else I get debated with me a lot is, well, but coffee is water, and juice has water, but that's not true, right? It all starts as water, and then we have altered it. So make sure you drink majority of water a day, and then you can have a little fun stuff. You can have a little Diet Coke, you can have a regular Coke. You just shouldn't have 6 Coca-Colas in a day or 6 Diet Cokes in a day. There's a huge debate on that too, the sugar, non-sugar, should it be artificial sweetener, should it not? My message is all of that is really bad for you, right? Regular pop is bad for you. Sugar-free pop is bad for you. What's good for us, everybody? Water. Look at how smart you all are. Yes. So those things should just be, it's a preference. I truly believe sugar-free versus sugary is a preference, and every doctor, nurse practitioner will tell you something different. In my house, we have all sugar-free drinks. We have sugar-free Gatorade, sugar-free A&W root beer, delicious. The A&W sugar-free root beer, and then a little bit of low-carb vanilla ice cream is like a vanilla, the root beer floats, right? With a lot less guilt in it, and it's just delicious. But really, you try not to do a lot of that stuff, and you keep yourself hydrated. If you've been having trouble with blood pressure ever or anything like that, start tracking your water. Make sure you're drinking enough. Keep that body running good. Keep the temple hydrated with good water that was put here for you to drink. Next slide. Oh, you know we're going to go here. Faith and fitness. Physical activity strengthens your body, mind, and spiritual health. And I believe this statement, I used it many, many, many years ago, that movement is medicine. Our bodies were not designed to move. I could not find a lot of Bible verses on exercise, but I think it's because they never expected us to not be moving. That we were always supposed to be, that we weren't going to need a motivation to do that. Go ahead and go to the next slide. I honestly believe that if you pick up and you improve and you increase your physical activity, or if you are an active human now and you maintain that, it is the key to a long, healthy, faith-filled, prosperous life. Physical exercise, you have got to burn what you take in. And the human body was designed to move. In my 15 years, I'm going on 16 as a nurse, I've met about 5 or 6 patients who were 100 years old or older. You don't meet a lot of people that make it over 100, right? And you better believe that I asked every single one of them how they made it there. Every single one of them told me they walk every day for 10 or 15 minutes. Now, they were 102, 101, right? And they said, I walk every day. If it's raining out, I walk around the inside of my house. I set a 10-minute timer, and one German lady said a tiny shot of vodka a day. But I was sworn to secrecy. I could not tell her daughter, but I'm telling you guys. But every single one of them walked. Another good story I have on physical fitness is my grandfather. He lived to be 97 years old. He was Slovenian. His family came, from Europe. He was a hard worker. He gardened, he moved, he was very active. And we were down at his house, and it was an ice storm. And he was going to get the mail. And you were not telling that man anything different. And he had a really, really long driveway. So my grandfather heads out on the driveway, and me and my mom and my grandma stand in the bay window watching. And he gets down, he makes it to the mailbox, and on his way back, he hit the ground, right? And my mom is, and my grandma is crying, and I'm like, everybody just wait this out, right? And he army rolls and pops up and brushes himself off, right? And he walks into the house, and we all pretended that we did not see it. But he was able to do that because he was an active man. Even at that day, I would say he was probably in his late 80s, early 90s, but he was still out in his garage tinkering every day, going over here, running over there, and he was in really good shape. If you are not in shape and you hit that ice, you are not gonna army roll and get back up again, okay? So activity does so many things to that mind, body, and spirit connection. What do we need to do, Meg? Number one, we should be active 5 days a week. Life is a 80-20. We need to be doing the good thing 80% of the time. 20% of the time I can have a little fun, right? 80% of the time I need to follow a good, healthy diet. 20% of the time I can come to the cookie walk. Everybody needs to come to the cookie walk. Okay? But we should exercise 5 days a week. If you're not exercising now, start low and slow. Exercise does not have to be running. I often joke that if you see me running, there is a killer coming, and you should also start running. I'm a walker. We walk every day. I'll do a little bit of weights. I like to do a little bit of yoga to try to calm me down, which I know doesn't look like that's a thing in my wheelhouse. But just moving in any way. People who have trouble with mobility, or if you're worried about falls, a great thing to do is to start exercising. Using and going to Silver Sneakers. Those Silver Sneakers programs here in the community are outstanding. Doing chair yoga. I have had many of my patients be successful with those little pedal machines, the QB, the peddler. I had a guy who used to come to me in a wheelchair, and now he can walk all the way back. He did the QB. His wife said he couldn't watch a news program unless he pedaled on the commercial breaks. And now he can walk. He's lost 40 pounds, right? And now he gets out and he does some walking. But those little pedal machines, ask for one for Christmas. A lot of my patients say the brand name one is the best one. But they're safe because you're not trying to get on a bike or a treadmill, and treadmills can be a little overwhelming. They're easy to store, right? But also just getting around and moving in your house or on little paths and doing that walking like that lady told me. I just walk around my house, she says. We should get 150 minutes of moderate activity a week. That's 5 30-minute sessions. You do not have to exercise for 30 minutes straight. I often find myself doing a little 10 minutes here and then 20 minutes later in the day. They actually say that's better for you. After meals, I think you guys are retired. So after you eat, walk for 5 minutes. After breakfast, after lunch, the more you burn that food, the less weight you'll gain and the more likely you'll burn everything you eat. And definitely avoid sitting for long periods. We are not meant to sit for a long time, right? We are supposed to be up and moving. When you think back to before we made TVs, society was not sitting around, right? We were constantly busy, so keep yourself active, right? Snow shoveling, leaf blowing, volunteering, running around different organizations. The more you move your body, the healthier you will be. Next slide. Speaking of the health benefits of exercise. And I don't think most of society knows a lot of this. When you start to exercise, just taking a walk, your muscles open and take the sugar out of your bloodstream. So walking lowers your blood sugar levels. Walking reduces your blood pressure at the moment. It reduces your cholesterol. It helps you sleep better. And a lot of people don't hear this from their doctors, but gentle and correct exercise plan will reduce chronic pain, right? If you meet with a therapist and they tell you to do these stretches and walk this way, it will actually help cure your chronic pain. Do you think the pharmaceutical companies want you to be aware of all of this? No. The big farm wants you to sit and eat bad because you will need diabetes pills, blood pressure pills, cholesterol pills, happy pills to bring you joy and happiness, right? Sleeping pills to help you sleep, medicine for your pain. And when you move your body, you get all of that for free. So move your body more and you will find more physical, mental, and spiritual health and well-being. Exercise 100% has been proven to reduce cardiovascular disease, to improve and strengthen your bone health. That's why my grandfather didn't break his hip that night, right? Because the more you move, the stronger the bones and the better they can take a fall. Because we're all gonna fall. We fall when we're young and we fall when we're old. The exercise helps you take that hit and not sustain a bad injury. Next slide. I like this one. I don't know how well it will show up, but it tells you the serious studies behind physical activity. It reduces the risk of cardiovascular disease by 38%. It reduces your risk of death, just plain sudden death, by 31%. It reduces dementia by 30%, reduces hip fractures by 68%, reduces depression by 30%. It 100% can help prevent and reduce type 2 diabetes. And I saw our cancer doctor, Dr. Sheikh, did a presentation for the nurses a few years ago, and he said multiple clinical studies have proven that 20 minutes of walking 5 days a week prevents multiple forms of cancer. So just get out there and move your bodies. You are giving yourself a free, healthy form of medication. And last on exercise, next slide, did he leave? Oh, he's there, is the mental health benefits of exercise. And I'm a nurse, so I'm like really big into all that science stuff I just told you. But I think very important is mentally what exercise does for us. It reduces our feelings of depression and stress. It enhances your mood. It enhances your confidence. It increases your energy level, and it helps you sleep. Everybody at different points in their life is probably been more physically active, and you do feel better. I joke that when you haven't been exercising, it doesn't sound fun. It's like, oh man, that nurse told me I need to get out and walk. But believe me, that after you take that walk, your brain will give you the joy and the confidence and the energy that you need, and it helps you on that whole spiritual connectedness, my mind connectedness, and living that healthy life full of well-being and wellness. Oh, this is really cool. Next slide. I just reminded me of our topic, and it is the end, but how the body is our temple, right? This is your temple. You only got one shot at taking good care of it, right? You do not have to be perfect. No one expects perfection. God doesn't expect perfection. But enjoy your life and live your life. And I think the big ticket is to take care of yourself, to take care of those around us, and to take care of our earth and our environment. And I appreciate all of your time today. And if anybody has questions, I can talk about any topic you want. And please don't forget that there are refreshments, and nobody gets to leave until they've at least stopped in the refreshment room. Questions? Was it good? Did I give you good information? Oh, and then Barb will want me to remind you to fill out your surveys. But feel free, does anybody want to ask any questions? Did I cover good topics? I did? Okay, good. Have a wonderful, blessed holiday season. I love that you had me come here. I'd come back anytime. I've got lots of friends who have great topics. The Heart Nurse. Me and the Heart Nurse are best friends. We travel together. But have a great holiday season, and I'll stick around too if anybody has any questions. And thank you so much for having me today. Thank you. Thank you.